Okay, I'm back. Coming back alive. Alright. Hi guys. Sorry about that. Well, not so sorry, because it was prayer. Nothing to apologize for. Whew. Tired as ever today. As we were discussing the random pulls of the Quran, we do have something here. So as I transcribe it, I'll just go ahead and add another little note. I'm speaking for myself when I say sometimes the personal random pulls are not as helpful for me. Some of you actually might really benefit from that. I know, honestly, that's how I started exploring the Bible and exploring the Quran, is just referencing it like you would like a deck of tarot cards. I know that is very not good, most of the time in most religions. But, you're dealing with the spiritual text. Maybe it is due to that nature that sometimes we don't always get the most clear answers. Of course, we're calling upon Allah, and of course, we're asking for His assistance and His guidance. And some of you actually might find some fruitful answers and fruitful messages that way. So I'm not saying it's an end-all, don't do it. But, I just have not really found success as of lately. I'm answering my own questions as I'm speaking to you guys about it. But I did mention too, it is to go ahead and strengthen your spiritual connection with the Lord and to actually focus on the internal communication that He gives you, versus referencing these texts if you need a quick answer, because we are also very quick-minded. We want quick answers, quick results, that sort of thing. So I think that's also where it comes from, lack of patience, that sort of thing. So that's just a good thing to keep in mind for future, taking note. Yes. So we are in Surah 17. We did read another part of this yesterday. Again, the night journey, Al-Isra. And we were on line 61. Okay? Line 61. Let's go ahead and take a look. Line 61 reads, "Behold, we said to the angels, bow down unto Adam. They bowed down, except Iblis. He bowed down to the one whom thou didst create from clay." This is the moment. This is the moment. If we remember anything from the ancient tales of Lucifer, of the devil, this is his beginning. Truthfully. So, let's go ahead and take a look. Oh no. Goodness. We said to the angels, and again, this is in the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Okay? Behold, we said to the angels, bow down unto Adam. They bowed down, except Iblis. He said, "Shall I bow down to one whom thou didst create from clay?" Alright, so this is quite truthfully his downfall. Okay, Iblis, Angel Iblis, he was Lucifer, he is Lucifer, excuse me. This is the formations of the devil, of evil in the world, because of his disobedience firsthand. His disobedience, his haughtiness, right? He honestly, I would say, had a few strikes with God before this. He did have a few strikes with God before this due to his nature of wanting to challenge God, right? In things of like intellect, things of that nature, okay, really and truly. So He wanted to challenge God, and this was his last chance. This was his last strike. He says, we said to the angels, right? We instructed all the angels to bow down unto Adam. So that was a command given from God. If the angel was true and pure in soul and spirit mostly, right? In spirit, they would bow down, except for one. Okay, so that set him apart. From then on, he was cast out of heaven, commanded to go ahead and roam around the earth, right, and fall even into deeper depths. And I think he almost kind of climbed his way out of the deep depths, which is how his presence is existing here on earth. Due to the fact that he was intelligent, he was smart, he did have a lot of proper qualities, all right, of a grand angel, of a high spirit angel, a high spirituality angel. My words, again, you guys just kind of ignore. They're not going to come as smoothly as I'd like today due to my sleepiness, so I apologize. But due to his, his stature, all right, his intellect, he was proper. He was a proper angel. He was a very good angel in the sense that he could help solve problems quickly, that type of thing, okay? But he rejected the command of God. He said, he questioned it, right? He asked it a question, shall I bow down to one whom thou did create from clay? So he really just asked a question. Let's see. And it follows. Let me go ahead and read this line. He said, seest thou, this is the one whom that thou hast honored above me. If thou wilt but respite me to the day of judgment, I will surely bring down his descendants under my sway, all but few. All right, so he goes ahead and predicts. He's saying, well, if this human, right, this being that you created surely out of dust and clay is greater than I, then I will make it my life's work to go ahead and prove that they are in fact beneath I. So this is interesting. It is, of course, a slap in the face to God, of course, because his creation is all glorious, including the angels, right? Everyone should be held to a glorious stature. None should be, one above the other, even if they are angels. But Iblis did have this opposite view, right? And quite frankly, that did fall through, or that did come to pass, I should say, that did come to pass, making us below the angels, both physically on a spiritual realm, in the spiritual realm, and also on the physical realm. Okay? So, with this, okay, we know that this is unacceptable by God, and we do see Iblis as the worst of the worst, Satan as the worst of the worst, Shaitan, right, Lucifer as the worst of the worst. But we should also consider all he had was a question. And then he went ahead and made it his life's work to go ahead and prove himself right. But we all know what is going to be carried out at the end, okay? Let's see here. Okay, all right. This is also a nod to the glory that, I told you this, the glory that exists within human beings, right? The glory that exists being that we are God's creation, being that we have the Spirit of God, the breath of God, quite literally blown into us, giving us our life, giving us our intricacies. That's what makes us special, okay? That's what makes us unique. That's what makes us worthy to be honored, right, and glorified, and the angels to go ahead and serve us. So really and truly, that is the true role of the angels, right? They are to look after us, they are to serve us, they are to take care of humans, right, as their protectors. So call upon them for assistance. There's no harm in that, of course. The only one who we look to for worship is thy Lord, right? Always and forever. So go ahead and, call upon assistance when needed. They are always there. But of course, what goes to God also goes to the angels. What goes to the angels also goes to God. I would say it is more beneficial to you to just go directly to the Lord, because the angels also work through him in his essence, in his spirit. And so do we, okay? Rely on each other. Don't be afraid to, reach out to each other, right? Ask for assistance from each other. Honor thy neighbor. Honor each other. Love each other. Hold each other close, okay? We should not be tearing other individuals down, because that's exactly what Iblis wants. You're doing his work for him. So, pay close attention to how we treat other human beings, because we do not want to follow in Iblis's footsteps, not honoring our fellow co-creator, our fellow human, right? That God also created in his image, in his own way. Of course we can instruct, of course we can correct, of course we can question. There's no harm in questioning. But let's not do Iblis's work, and let's not make his job easy. Let's not make his job easy, and let's actually put him on unemployment, right? Let's get him actually out of his role completely. Let's make him not have to even think about that as his work anymore, and that as his role. I know that I'm thinking like a little bit far out, but let's go ahead and just take up the correct position, the right position, in taking care of each other, loving each other. I know I said this again and again, but very, very important. Honoring each other, recognizing the glory and the gods within us. It's very important. Recognizing we have the Spirit of God within us. Very, very important. And also knowing you are protected, and knowing you have divine protection with you at all times, here to help you and here to serve you. So, very important. God thought very highly of us, that he commanded the angels to be our servants. So, we should also hold each other to that status, and not think of us as insufficient, okay? Oh, goodness, that was a tough one. That was a tough one. All right. We shouldn't really see anything as inherently evil either, okay? Because Iblis was once an angel. I know we hate the devil, right? It's such a difficult thing, because it's really the devil plays a role, right? Lucifer, Iblis, who whatever, right? He plays a role. And again, we want to make him unemployed. Make him unemployed. I don't know put him out of work is what I'm trying to say. We want to put him out of work so he has nothing to do but perhaps aid to the assistance of us once again one day, right? If he's not doing that already, right? Of course, there's terrible things going on with our own hands, right? Our human doings. It has nothing to do with the devil. The Bible really hardly talks about the devil and the evil. The only evil in the eyes of the Lord would be the idolatry, right? The strange gods, things like that. Which maybe we'll dive back into it, because I know we've been saying also it's okay to recognize the divinity in each other as humans, but don't put that before God's divinity, is really what I'm trying to say. Don't let anything surpass your time and attention. That's not God's divinity, first and foremost. And then, of course, take care of your fellow people around you, right? I had a title. Okay. Okay, and again, with the note that nothing is inherently evil, right? You know, of course the Lord was angry. Of course the Lord was not pleased with Iblis's decision, and he cast him out. But again, he actually, in a few occasions in the Bible and the Quran, he will go ahead and allow Iblis, the devil Lucifer, to go ahead and do his work. And I think it was in Job. There's actually a really good section of that in Job where the Lord actually allows the devil to go ahead and try to persuade Job into certain things, okay? But the Lord will allow, right, and almost work with Iblis in a way, not so much so that they're opposition and they're opposing each other all the time. Iblis is still under God, and really, if anything, if what the Lord was trying to what the Lord was trying to prove by casting him out was to prove that Iblis was lower than God, right? And he was actually lower than humans, and angels are here to serve us instead, not the other way around. Even though physically and spiritually they seem higher than us, they are here to serve us. But again, nothing is inherently evil. The Lord is, accepting and allowing of certain things based off of the lessons he wants to teach us. So this is another thing. Do not fear the things of this world. Do not fear certain spiritualities. Do not fear, things that we've created and we've manifested for ourselves. But if anything, fear Lord's judgment upon you. Fear the way that he feels about your actions, your thoughts, and your words. Okay, I fear right now that he's thinking I'm, mumbling up a bunch and I need to go take a nap. Once I pick up Miss Fiasco, Kitty, Mommy Cat, from the vet, I will certainly take a nap, and we're going to cuddle on the couch and watch The Office in lieu of my personal day today. I'm very excited for that. But yes, I apologize for mumbling and grumbling, pausing, freaking out with mentioning Iblis. But we should not fear him, okay? If anything, just fear the Lord and what the Lord allows Iblis to do to us. Again, everything is in God's reach. Everything is in God's sight. Everything is in God's ear reach. Whatever that is, his hearing. He can hear everything. He knows everything. He's very hyper sensitive to us and our wants and our desires and what is going on. So again, he does want us to establish that communication with him, so that nothing that might come in between his work with us, nothing that would come in between his work with us can actually flourish. Again, I'm so sorry, but you know what I'm trying to say. He wants our communication to be very, very strong, so nothing can ever intercede with what he's trying to do with us and through us. Yes, that includes, everything good, bad, the ugly, in between. Mumbly jumbly words. Okay. So, yeah, just a little message again, whoever needs to hear this. I try to relate whatever I say to things that I've been thinking about, or things, that I heard, I want to touch on. I try to just bring any relevant information that I can. Of course, what's picked is what's picked, and that's how we speak about it. Again, it's for the masses. However the seed plants, that's how it will go. Okay? Thanks for listening. I will be much well rested the next time I see you. I will give you guys a little break. And due to this mumbly jumbliness, I'm not going to get on and do the 2 Kings portion because it's so much, and I do want to be sharp and ready to discuss that with you. So we'll go ahead and do that then, okay? God bless you guys. Thank you for listening, and I hope to talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.